Okay, I want you to think for a second about the most sophisticated surveillance device ever built. What comes to mind? Something from a spy movie, right? Maybe a government supercomputer tucked away in a bunker? Well, I'm here to tell you that the most invasive, most comprehensive data-gathering machine on Earth is very likely parked in your garage right now.
Think about this for a second. How many of you out there have a little piece of tape or one of those sliding covers on your laptop camera? A lot of us do, right? It's become this standard piece of digital hygiene. We're cautious. We worry about our smart speakers listening in. We comb through our phone's privacy settings. We've all been conditioned to be a little paranoid about technology invading our homes.
And that's what makes this so wild. It's this huge paradox. We're terrified of that one single tiny little camera on our laptop. But every single morning, many of us get into a 2-ton metal box filled with literally hundreds of sensors, multiple cameras, always-on microphones, and more computing power than the early space missions, and we don't think twice. The real threat to your privacy isn't on your desk, it's in your driveway.
So how on earth did we get here? How did the automobile, the ultimate symbol of freedom, the open road, of just getting away from it all, how did it morph into a Trojan horse for corporate surveillance? Well, I can tell you this, it was not an accident. It was a very deliberate, very calculated process. And you can see how gradual it was when you look at the timeline. It was a slow burn. Just 15 years ago, your car was basically a mechanical object. Then, about a decade ago, we started seeing the first infotainment screens, Bluetooth pairing. It all seemed so cool and convenient, right? And then, the real game changer, built-in cellular modems became standard. Car companies sold us on all of this as features for us, apps, remote start, navigation, but the truth is, these features were the tools they needed to turn your car from a product you buy into a service that sells you.
And this quote just says it all. This is the new business model. The car makers realized that the real money wasn't in the car itself, it's in the data, your data. Every trip, every song, every hard break is a recurring revenue stream for them. It's a gold mine that's worth far more over the life of the car than the profit they made when you first drove it off the lot. All right, so let's get into the specifics. What exactly are they collecting? Because this is where things go from a general, vague concern to something out of a dystopian sci-fi movie. And I'm not talking about your mileage. We are so far beyond that. Just try to wrap your head around this. The sensors in your driver's seat, yeah, they can calculate your precise weight. When you connect your phone to use Apple CarPlay or Android Auto, the system can, and often does, download your entire call history and your text messages. That little camera that's supposed to be for driver attention, it's logging your facial expressions and where your eyes are looking. Of course, it knows every single place you go, how long you stay, and it creates a detailed record of every single driving maneuver you make. But then it gets so much creepier. We decided to dig into the privacy policies. You know, the endless pages of legal jargon that no one reads. And what we found was just shocking. Automakers are granting themselves permission to collect the most intimate details of your life. And I'm not exaggerating. Just look at this. This is a direct quote from Nissan's own policy. They claim the right to collect data on your sexual activity. And this wasn't an outlier. Kia had similar language in their policy. It just begs the question, how? How is a car collecting data about your sex life? Well, think about it. It's listening through the always-on microphones in the cabin, and it's scraping all the data it can from the phones you connect to it. It's a total information vacuum.
Now, you might be wondering if some brands are better than others. Well, the Mozilla Foundation, which is a gold standard for digital privacy research, did a massive investigation. They reviewed 25 of the world's biggest car brands. The final score? 100%. 100% of the brands they looked at failed their basic privacy and security standards. Every single one.
I really want you to let that sink in. Mozilla has reviewed everything you can imagine. Mental health apps, dating apps, smart home devices, social media networks, and out of every product category they have ever investigated in their entire history, cars came in dead last. They were officially ranked the #1 worst category for privacy, worse than TikTok, worse than Facebook, the absolute worst.
So the big question is, where is all this incredibly sensitive data going? Well, this is the part where surveillance turns into a direct financial hit to your wallet. This is the ultimate betrayal.
They sell it, plain and simple. They take all that driving data and they sell it to these massive, faceless corporations called data brokers. You've probably never heard of them, but companies like LexisNexis and Verisk are giants. Their entire business is creating secret files on all of us, a risk profile, and then selling that profile to anyone willing to pay. And who do you think is their most eager customer? You guessed it, insurance companies. Let me walk you through a scenario that is happening to people right now. Let's say you're driving home, and a deer jumps out in front of you. You slam on the brakes, you avoid the accident. You did the right thing. But your car doesn't see it that way. It logs that as a hard braking event. That little piece of data gets beamed wirelessly to the automaker, who then sells it to a data broker. The broker adds that risky event to your secret file. And then, when it's time to renew your insurance, your provider buys your profile, their algorithm flags you as a risky driver, and boom, your premium goes up. Your own car tattled on you, and it cost you money.
Now, I know what you're thinking. There has to be a way to just turn this all off. Well, that's where the illusion of control comes in. And it is, perhaps, the most cynical part of this entire scheme. It's the obvious question, isn't it? Surely, deep in the settings, there's a button you can push that says, "Stop spying on me." But the answer is, unfortunately, no. Not a real one, anyway. Because this is the choice they give you. It's a false choice. When you try to opt out, a screen pops up and essentially says, "Sure, you can protect your privacy, but if you do, we're going to disable the features you already paid for. Your navigation system, your emergency SOS button, maybe even your remote start." It's not a choice. It's digital extortion. They're holding your car's features hostage until you agree to be monitored. And here is the final gut punch. Even if you navigate that menu and agree to lose all your features to opt out, the car's computers often keep logging the data anyway. And the next time you take your car in for a simple oil change, the mechanic plugs into that little port under the dashboard and downloads it all. There is truly no escape. And let's be clear, this isn't just about privacy. This is a massive security risk. We've seen white hat hackers prove that they can remotely take control of a car's steering and brakes while it's driving down the highway. We've seen domestic abuse cases where stalkers use the car's own app to track their victims' every move. And governments and law enforcement can often just buy your location history from these data brokers, doing a complete end run around the need for a warrant. It's just such a fundamental shift in what a car is. The car was this symbol of freedom, of autonomy, of the open road. It was your private space. And now, it's been transformed into the ultimate digital ankle monitor, a tracking device that you pay for, that profits from watching you. So I guess the only thing to leave you with is this. The next time you get into your car and you see that big, bright touchscreen light up, take a moment, look at the cameras and microphones pointed at you, and ask yourself a really simple question. In this new reality, are you the driver or are you just the product being delivered?